Okay, so you're thinking about adding or changing your curriculum, or maybe you're not, you just know you have to watch this video so that you can stay up to date with all the opportunities and options there are at Rensselaer and within the School of Engineering. Reasons why students might want to add to their curriculum. First of all, RPI has an amazing amount of things that you can take advantage of while you're here. There are so many opportunities. It makes a lot of sense that you'd want to explore them. Some students know or have a foggy idea of what they'd like to do when they graduate, so they want to add certain things to their curriculum that will help them reach those goals. Other students are genuinely deeply interested in certain subject areas, so they want to make sure that even if it's not their major focus, they can carry that hobby or interest with them through their college career. So there are many reasons to add or adjust your curriculum by adding in the options that you saw in the bullet points above. So either adding a minor, exploring duals, changing your major, or declaring your major. And then there's, of course, the co-terminal option as well. I'm about to explain all of these a little bit more. But the first thing that I want to say is there's no rush right now to make a decision about any of this stuff. Even if you're interested in a minor, there's no reason to worry about that right now. Many times we'll even encourage you to at least wait till your second semester so you can get a full semester under your belt before you start changing around what's headed your way. So first off, let's talk about minors. Minors are awesome. They're these little bubbles of specific content that you can add to your curriculum. That again, maybe it pertains to career goals, like a lot of students will add a business minor or a computer science minor. Maybe it has everything to do with your hobbies and your interests. So this could be, you took a lot of music in high school, like a band and choir, and you want to keep that, so you want to take all the music classes you can. Maybe you love art. Maybe you are incredibly interested in chemistry or biology, but you don't want to study it. This is a way that you can add those little bubbles to your degree. And of course, it's a really cool selling point for a recruiter too, because then you get to explain why, as a mechanical engineer, you decided to have a biology minor. So those are little tiny things that can help you stand out to a recruiter. If you look at the minor form video in the forms section, you'll see that it's actually pretty easy to declare a minor, but also you see there really is no rush in declaring it right now. But if you look at the college catalog video where we show you the programs, you'll see the whole list of minors right there. So that is definitely worth exploring if it's something you think you'd like to do. What I would say is if you're interested in a minor, just know that they are typically 16 credits, although sometimes you need to take prerequisite courses before you can get to those into those minor courses. For example, with computer science, you actually have to take a couple computer science courses before you can get into those minor courses. So of course that makes some minors a little bit more than the 16 required credits. For Haas, it's actually really easy to get a Haas minor alongside your pathway. So if you remember with your Haas core, your pathway is 3 classes. So theoretically, if a minor is 16 credits, that's 4 classes. So you'd only have to add 1 more Haas course onto that pathway in order to get a minor. Many students actually come so close to a minor, they just decide to take the extra credit. Or extra class so that they can graduate with that minor. And a lot of students actually end up getting a minor accidentally and then realizing it and declaring it in their senior year so they can graduate with that officially part of their degree. Whether or not you want to declare a minor now or later is perfectly fine. Again, there's no rush, especially if you're just exploring certain subject areas. I know many of you right now have considered doing sustainability or economics. Talk to your advisor about that if it's something you'd like to do. All right. Moving on from minors, the next thing to discuss is duals. So duals are a lot more complicated than a minor. What you're basically doing is smushing 2 curriculums together into 1 degree. There are existing duals, and those duals do make sense. So, for example, aeronautical engineering and mechanical engineering, so the aero-mech dual, makes sense because it's in the main department. departments. There is the civil and environmental dual, again, same department. And then there's a couple existing duals, such as the design, innovation, and society with mechanical engineering, so the DIS and mechanical. Duals can be great if they are the answer to your career goals. So again, if you have a foggy idea of your career goals, it's definitely worth exploring. Not necessarily worth committing to. The exploration will let you know whether or not it's something you want to do. However, if you're interested in a dual that doesn't exist, that's where it becomes a little bit more work, and you risk potentially having to graduate in 5 years, depending upon how the 2 degrees mesh together. This is something that I would strongly encourage you to speak with your SOE Hub advisor about. And again, it's not something that you need to think about this semester, or even start planning about until this semester. It's something that you can talk about more when you start working on your 4-year plan. But just know that duals are out there, and sometimes they're really helpful, and they'll help you with what it is you want to do with your career, and sometimes they won't. So the first question is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Then we can talk about whether or not a dual is the right plan for you. And then going from duals straight into the co-terminal, a lot of times when I hear what students are interested in with a dual, and we do realize that it might take 5 or 6 years to complete that dual, what I throw out there is the co-terminal program. It is such a cool program through RPI. It basically allows you to tack on a master's degree to the end of your bachelor's degree. So theoretically in 5 years, you'll graduate with 2 degrees, 1 master's, 1 bachelor's, as opposed to some of those duals that will only give you 2 bachelor's degrees, and also take the same amount of time. So if you're talking about investment, the co-terminal is really a strong investment. Again, whether or not you want to do it is totally up to those career goals that you have. And if you're a student who brought in a ton of AP credits, a lot of times what students decide to do for their 4th year, rather than graduating early, is to just get that co-terminal program, and get that master's degree. Okay, so quickly ran through minors, duals, co-terminal. So the last thing to really talk about is that official piece, which is changing your major, changing your direction, filling out the paperwork. Could mean declaring your major if you're an undeclared student. So you'll see in the form video that the change of major form is actually a pretty easy form to fill out. You can get it from your hub advisor or the registrar's website. I'd also want to throw out there that if you are thinking about changing your major, whether to another engineering major or if you're thinking outside the School of Engineering, you should certainly talk to your hub advisor about it now. In the School of Engineering, as we say, the first 3 semesters are really, really similar regardless of what your major is. So there is time for that movement, but we want to make sure we get you moved while we can. And additionally, I am the advisor for the undeclared engineers, so I'm happy to talk to any student about, what might be the right major for them, again, inside the School of Engineering, or if we need to look outside of the School of Engineering. So there's a lot of ways to add to your curriculum, change your curriculum, adjust your curriculum, and it all stems from what are your career goals and which answer is the right one for you.